I'm excited to see if it's going to be orange again. That's
It
my
will
biggest
be.
thing.
I can guarantee it.
Yes. Woo!
If it comes out, I'm gonna ask you the question: Orange, you glad it was orange?
Oh my gosh. See, this is why we need him in every interview to do bad dad puns.
Dude, that would be the best thing if we could just add on to all of my awkward silence moments. You could just add these incredible dad jokes right there.
Oh, trust me, I've got like a whole like database of them.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That
Oh
was,
my gosh.
That was just a setup. I should
I'm
have
gonna turn beat
known.
red on that one.
Yeah. You're listening to the Media Man Dan podcast. Let's rock!
Yeah! Climb aboard in this train, destined for great things, for none have been the same. Sonnets of happiness, from such bonds we're free. Praying none come to see our mediocrity, buried in 6 degrees.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Media Man Dan podcast. Today, I have one of the best bands I've ever talked to on the podcast returning for a second visit and another wonderful conversation. Once again, welcome, Crushing Plains, to the Media Man Dan podcast.
Happy to be here.
How is the weather down there, guys? We are in like almost frozen area now in Chicago.
It's finally cold. Finally. After living in a barren wasteland.
We were literally like 90 degrees over the weekend, and now we're in the 40s within a matter of 24 hours. So we don't know what to do. We're all freaking out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, start taking the cold and flu meds right now.
Yes.
That's quite a difference. That's like 50-degree drop in 2 or 3 days. We were, thank God, in already pretty cold temperatures. But as soon as I was seeing the weather pop up and it said that we were going to get snow on Halloween, I was like, oh no. Oh no, because I usually dress as Deadpool, which is fine, but I usually like to be in my nice like sweatshirt around it or something. And now I'm going to have to wear a full coat. Just kills the costume.
Just put it underneath the costume. You'll be like a bulky Deadpool.
Exactly. I'll have that muscle suit.
Exactly.
Yes. So, speaking of Halloween, we have a brand new album that just came out from you guys at this point in time, and that is Odd Numbers, your brand new 5-song EP, and this is a masterpiece. If
my God. It's very generous of you.
If any of you guys want to hear the evolution of this band, I have it on Spotify in a playlist so that you can hear everything, and it's just so much fun. You go from the Avenue, and then you get to track, I think, 2, and it has the same vibe. And I was like, what is this? This is like an exact, like, this is where I would want to be transported to if I were to be like, all right, show me what their discography looks like in this time. It sounds so similar, but you can hear how much improvement was added as well with like the vocals and the guitar. And of course, the percussion, just mind-blowingly good EP. And I love EPs because they're so easy to re-listen to, so 3-4 times.
Absolutely.
So what has been your favorite thing about promoting this album?
We did a lot of things differently this time around because we're really trying to get the word out about it. So for example, one thing that we did that was a little bit different was we actually wrote up press releases, and then we created these mailers that we all got to be a part of to a certain degree, where we had like stickers in them, and then we put like some band photos and then a handwritten note, and then like our Fantastic Media Man Dan has right there. And then we sent those out to people who might potentially be interested. Our good friend Media Man Dan also got a t-shirt, which was pretty cool.
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. But it was just another way to try to get the word out about what we were doing and connect with potential future fans, and then people that could help us get the word out, because as I'm sure every person that's like in a indie band knows, it can be a real struggle to tell people about what you're doing and get the word out to like more people. So we're just really trying to think outside the box and get the word out and share this new music that we're really proud of.
I think we've
Awesome.
definitely got a lot more confidence in ourselves this go round. You know, every time you go into the studio, it's hard. You always have that little bit of like red light syndrome in a way. But I think this time around, we felt more unified as a band and then more confident just releasing it in general. And it's always you have to be so vulnerable to release these type of things, but just that confidence has built up. Our community, our Houston band family, that's all grown significantly over the past year or so. And so I can definitely say that's just helped us out quite a bit for this release. Yeah.
And James, feel free to add on.
I agree.
Genius.
I know. Man of many words.
Yeah.
That is the perfect answer, though. How has your summer been, since now that it is over, we are in fall? I guess, how has your fall been as well?
Well, in regards to the summer question, we didn't have too many shows over the summer. We kicked off this summer with a show, but we really were trying to focus on getting everything wrapped up with the EP and making sure that was all squared away. Obviously, we were doing a lot of the mixing process, and that was pretty time consuming, but it was a lot of fun. It was very hands-on and all that stuff. And we were also revisiting our set list and really trying to breathe new energy into it, because one thing that's important to us is we don't want to be a band that just plays the same set list over and over and over for years and years. So we took that time where we were in the studio to revisit a lot of songs and revamp them, kick up the energy a lot, and try to just make our shows really exciting. And then our fall, do one of y'all want to talk about our fall? It was crazy. Yeah.
We scheduled so many shows, and when you're scheduling them months in advance, you're like, oh, that'll be no problem. Oh yeah, we can play on this day. Oh yeah, we can play on a Sunday night. We can do this, whatever. And then it's just, you sit there and go, why did we schedule things back to back? Like, we're dying.
Yeah. It becomes chaos really fast.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually going perfectly into my next question. How was it with all of the extra like touring, promotion on the side with social media? Like you said, you were talking to many bands in order to get yourselves to grow as well. And we talked about that on the first episode with just everything that you were doing in your local area to promote local music. I feel like it's really paid off for you. And hitting 1,000 followers, I almost said subscribers, followers on Instagram was a huge milestone as well.
We're really pumped about that, and especially because Instagram can be such a fickle thing where, like, you know, you'll get 900 followers and then all of a sudden, oh, it bumps back down to 860, and then you get back up to 950, and then oh, now it's down to 9. So it's very fickle, because the truth is there's a lot of people who will follow you but then unfollow you like 2 days later, and so it ebbs and flows. And it's funny because like literally like we got the 1,000 subscribers, and now I'm saying it, 1,000 followers, and I was all like pumped about it. And then 2 days later, it was like, oh, it's like 998. I was like, oh man, I just posted the thing, and now people are going to think I wasn't being honest about it. But then it was like the next day, it's like, oh, we got 5 new followers. So it was like, it goes back and forth. But I know now we can say with confidence that we really worked hard on growing that organically and trying not to do the whole like spam thing. Because like when we were first kicking off with our Instagram, we were just trying to hit the ground running and just find people in the community and build our fan base. And then so after that, then we kind of brought our followers back down, and then we got it to a really good organic place, and then we started building it back up again. And so now it's like we're really proud of that accomplishment, because it took a lot of time and promotion and telling people, hey, you know, follow us on Instagram, which, you know, during shows, like we're always trying to shout out social media. And that always brings about like, oh, you'll get like 4 or 5 followers and stuff like that, which is cool. But then after the show, oh, a couple more sprinkle in that were at the show that didn't follow necessarily at the time. And so it's definitely exciting. It's a lot of work. It's exhausting, but it definitely pays off, because that's how we're able to connect with the most people, is through that avenue.
Yeah, it's excellent too. And like you said, you're growing it organically. That's the best thing, is it's not like these paid bots. You don't have to like be like, oh, we just hit 10,000 from yesterday that was 566. What could have
Yeah.
happened in that time? I wonder what it could have
Yeah.
been.
Went on tour with Taylor Swift. It was awesome.
Yeah, after opening for the Eras tour, we had all of the success just down the line.
Oh yeah, doors opened up like crazy. So
But let's talk about your touring experience, because one of the most epic places on the earth, I guess you could say, but in the United States of America, is called the House of Blues. And there's plenty of those venues in different states. But you guys got to play at the one in Texas. Was that in Dallas?
it was in Houston.
Houston. And how was that first time playing there?
Y'all want to take that?
I can speak on this, but James, you go ahead.
Okay, so I grew up in the music industry. My dad's a stage manager, so like my whole thing and pretty much every show we play at is I immediately go to the sound guy or whoever's running lights, and I just kind of hang out with them. It had been a little while since I've seen the console that they had, which is a VI 6000 series console.
I don't know what that is.
As we all know, yes, the VI 6000.
It's just always refreshing to me to see some of the gear that I'm used to seeing, and it's just always nice to be in those sorts of environments, because it's like I talk to them, I get it. Sometimes I'm able to sort of push us in a direction that helps make their lives easier, and likewise they do the return for us.
For sure.
So, and having a good front of house engineer can make a band sound really good.
Oh yeah.
And
Are they in like a glass box? Like the one in Chicago, we have them like right behind the pit. It's the weirdest place to put them, but they're like in this glass wall in front of them, is just so they don't get killed by what's ever going on in the pit.
Right. Yeah, no, they weren't in a
Open.
booth or anything.
Yeah.
They were out in the open.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Some barricades around it to keep people from bumping into stuff. But I mean, yeah, they were right there. They were easy to talk to. They're super nice, real professional. I enjoyed working with them. They were all really cool.
And I think it was interesting because we got to see how some of the other bands interacted with, you know, those like the employees of House of Blues and how they interacted with fans. And it was just crazy because we always go in, you know, with the attitude is like, we're going to be the nicest band. You know, we're going to, you know, thank all the bartenders. We're going to thank all the people who are working on the production side of things and thank the fans. And I don't know, I think that was really the first time for me that it clicked that I'm like, man, some bands are just not that nice. Because yeah, I'm not going to go into which band, but
We should make a disclaimer. It wasn't any of the bands we played with.
wasn't the
Gotcha.
band.
It was a
And
bigger
so
band
it was a bigger
that was like from out of town. And so they walked in and we were like in the hallway and we're like, oh, hey, like that's really like, we didn't think we were going to meet any band. And they were just could not be bothered. Like
Yeah.
if we couldn't help them, they didn't want to talk to us, you
Oh
know?
no.
And
we kind of all made a pact in that moment, like, let's never be like those guys.
Yeah.
We were like apologizing to the people.
Yeah, we're sorry that we didn't act nice. Yeah.
Of course, like that's awful that this band is not being, I don't know, their attitude is just not in the right place anymore. Maybe you just get too big and you forget about that small aspect of thanking the crowd, thanking the bartenders, thanking the managers, thanking the security. That's why one of my favorite things when I go to like a Shinedown show is that he's always like, everyone here is your family. It doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you believe. When you're here with us, we're all listening to the same music and we're all going to have a good time. It's just that atmosphere that you should have when you're seeing live music, where you feel safe, you feel comfortable, and to know that some bands will put on that front and they will show this nice, cool, friendly side on stage, and then as soon as they're off stage, they go into that not so friendly zone, and it is that level of ego.
But I think it also speaks volumes to the Houston community
Yes.
that we have here. We're very spoiled in the fact that I would say pretty much every single band that we've played with, and I mean this is across the board, even with the bands that we played with at House of Blues, Kenton Place and Keith Like Captains, like everyone is just so nice and supportive.
Mhm.
They're out there listening to you. Like I would kid you not, every time we play a show, the bands that are opening for us are playing after us are right there at the edges of the stage, like watching and cheering us on. And we do the same for them. And so when you have a band from out of town come in and you just kind of interact with them for a little bit, and you think, oh, here's a big fish and a Houston's not a little pond, but like we're not big players by any means.
Yeah.
And so when they come in, you're like, oh, here's a chance to make an impression. And you're like, what in the world? Like that, they were not very nice at all. And
I would have never thought.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's where we made the big thing for us is like not that we're sitting here with delusions of grandeur, but like if we ever get to a realm of success, we never want to act that way. We always want to be super thankful and nice and down to earth and just connect with the people. It doesn't matter like if you're a 12-year-old that is playing music with his friends, or if you're a 50-year-old who's at the bar. Like we want to be thankful for every single person who comes out and supports what we're doing, and give them a chance to feel special, and like the interaction was a positive one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how did the show go when you guys actually hit the stage? Were you like nervous because it was like a little different atmosphere, or was this just like another show to you?
I was nervous. I've said before, I have major stage anxiety. So like I'm nervous at every show. I mean, crying out loud. Like I went live on Instagram the other day.
Yeah.
Like it was just me. I was just playing some of the songs off the EP, and I just wanted to see, if anyone would hop on and watch. One person watched, and I was like freaking out. I'm like singing by myself. I'm like, why am I like? There's one person watching, and they're probably not actually watching. They probably just clicked it and then clicked off,
Yeah.
But I'm like freaking out. I'm like messing the song up. I'm like, oh my gosh, like. I'm like, I get so in my head with it. So that's normal. I'm always anxious before a show. So
I was so scared when I saw the notification pop up because I was editing and I was like, oh no, I'm a bad fan. I'm not joining in their stream. They're probably promoting the album. And I'm like, wait, they said no promotion until the 31st. What's going on? And so I click it and the live stream already ended. I was like, okay. Maybe it was just an accidental click. That happens sometimes. You just go live.
No. It was more of an experiment to see, like, because we had talked about all three of us going live and playing some songs, but then so I went live by myself and played like 3 songs from the EP, and then afterwards it was like, yeah, one person, and then my brother hopped on and was like, hey dude, and I was like, I'm wrapping up, man, like sorry. So, but he's like, dude, you got to promote it if you're going to go live. I was like, well, you're not wrong. Like I should have probably said something, but I just was like testing it out, seeing if anyone would jump on.
Yeah, spontaneous live streams are like my favorite thing to do when I leave my grandparents, because I will be like, I need to stay awake and I'm tired after I'm mowing lawns or doing yard work. So that I'm driving like 35 minutes. It's pitch black outside. I'm like, you know what I should do? Go live on Instagram. Oh, great. 3 people. Woohoo!
There you go. Talk to them and have a conversation.
Exactly. Talk to anyone who wants to talk. And it's just, it does release some nerves, as opposed to your experience, which adds the nerves of being watched by anyone. But that's okay. I think that, yeah, if you guys do schedule something where it's a big live stream, that you're going to get a lot more clicks and a lot more people, and then you can figure out what time zone works best for people too, because not everybody is awesome as the central time like we have.
Truth.
My next question is about this album. How long did it take to put together these specific songs? I know that you probably have like a list of songs you've been going through for a long time, and you're like, does this fit? Does this fit? Does this fit? But I feel like this one just has a nice flow from beginning to end. And I do like that the end has like literally no percussion. It's just completely vocal and guitar. And I'll tell you what song it reminded me of when we get to that point. But how was the whole experience?
So it's funny because there's a lot I could say. Some I won't. But like the thing is like, I think the thing I love the most about this EP is it's kind of an accumulation of the entirety of our time making music. So it goes from like the song For Despair. I think I shared with you before. That was the first song I ever wrote.
Yes.
So I literally wrote it like 2015, super long time ago. And I was just trying out songwriting. I was like, oh, I had my acoustic guitar. I just wrote this little song. And I was like, all right, cool, that was fun. And then I didn't write anything else for like 2 years, But then I was like, we're organizing the EP and we're thinking, okay, what are we going to put on the EP? The name of the EP is Odd Numbers. And I thought it would be kind of funny if every track started with an even number title. So like 0 to Follow, 4 to Spare, 6 Degrees. I just was like, oh, that'd be kind of funny. And then 0 was basically brought about because originally it was going to be 3 songs, but then we're like, we don't want the EP to be 3 songs. That's not long enough. Like we want more music. So then we wrote 0 and we're like, that'll be our intro track. Perfect. Well, then the last song, Hillside, came about because of, and I'm not going to go into details, but basically something happened. And I wanted to write about it because I was really upset about it and it really made me mad. So I was like, we're going to do a song and it's going to be at the end of the EP. And originally she was supposed to sing it. But then she didn't.
Okay.
Because I decided to sing it. Oh, my voice.
Yeah, he just went in there and started doing it, and I wasn't available at that time. And then I walk in, and he's like, "Actually, it's kind of already done." And I was
You stole the vocals. Okay.
It was complicated because the thing is me and James, and by me and James, I mean James, actually did all the production and the mixing on that song specifically. The rest of the EP was mixed and produced by Ryan English of Keep Like Captains at his home studio. I don't know what it's called, like Ryan's Fantastic Studio Shack. Good times had there by many.
Yeah.
But James and I, we basically just recorded that in our bedroom, and by our I mean Melanie and I's, not James and I's bedroom. No, but I need to put a disclaimer there. So
In
record
case somebody gets confused.
exactly.
Well, I mean, you were kind of pointing in that direction. I mean,
Exactly. So yeah, we did everything in there, and because of that, like when we actually play the song live, there is drums to it.
oh,
But because we were just doing it here and we didn't have the equipment to track the drums, we're like, you know what? Let's just make it a really cool.
no, we could have done the drums. You just started patient.
The song was written and composed within like a 24-hour period. It was very quick,
Yeah, it was.
very rushed, and we're very proud of it. We're not like sitting here going, oh, it doesn't sound good, but like it was very much a fast process because something, like I said, something happened, and then I'm like, I'm gonna address this thing and I'm gonna do it in a song. And then so it all kind of unfolded really quickly. And then we're like, cool, awesome. We got one more song to put on the EP. And then I'm glad. I think it brings the EP to a nice little close in a unique way. So
indeed it does.
To respond to your question, there's a lot of songs that we wrote many, many years ago, and there's some fresh,
very fresh.
very fresh
Yeah.
songs. Like there's songs we've been sitting on for a while because we didn't know when to record them or what EP to put them on or anything like that. And then it's like brand new, PJ's brainchild
Yeah.
in one night.
I was
Okay.
going to say for that last track, you guys were saying that it was intentional that you didn't have a drum track on it, and all I was thinking was like the same vibes I get from Demon Hunters and I Am a Star.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Am
I
a
do
Star.
have I was listening to Demon Hunter recently, actually.
Yeah.
So I vibe with
on a
Demon
mini
Hunter.
Demon Hunter kick, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually a vibe for the end of an album, is to have that softer song. So it did work, like you said. It's a heart.
Works nicely.
But my first question on the first track, Come As You Are. I don't know who the original artist is. That was
That's
the vibe
Nirvana.
I got. That's Nirvana. Okay. Because you guys were talking about Nirvana in the first interview, and I was like, this is what I hear. This is what I hear. But then also the last track also sounds like the Batman song that Nirvana did. That they used
Oh,
for
okay,
the
yeah.
movie last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was great vibes all the way through, from the first track to the last track.
Awesome.
Other than that, To Follow, I love that there was that even number thing. I saw that when I was reacting to it, but then I was re-listening to it and I was like, no, it does. It's in my head. It's in my head because I told myself there were 6 tracks because I was like, I love track 6. And I was like,
Yeah, no.
that's not a thing. Okay. But
I like to make things as confusing as possible.
Yes.
So
Yeah, To Follow has a very similar vocal line to The Avenue. Like I said in the beginning of this interview, track two, it reminded me so much of that first track that you guys ever released. And I was like, this is a wonderful evolution. And I wish I could speak more over the stuff I was listening to, but when I react to something live, I want, the music to be the main event. It's not going to be my perspective until afterwards, and then I'll lose that. But as I was re-listening, I was like, oh, yes, that's what I was thinking. It's The Avenue that was the closest to. Was that an intentional choice to have like a similar delivery with the vocals?
So do you mean Achilles Heel or The Avenue? Because I want to make sure I get it right.
Did I get it wrong? I keep screwing up those two.
So
I get it wrong all the time.
Yeah, no, she does too, all the time. She's like, is this
Always.
Achilles? Which one? Because technically it's funny because we kick off our shows with Achilles Heel and then we end our shows with The Avenue. So it's like so
Okay.
I will say this: those songs were written, I feel like, in the same period of time because we've had
To Follow is an
for
older
a
song.
while.
Yeah.
And so it would make sense if they were kind of that similar
Yeah.
to saying, because
But
they were written around the same.
I will say this, it's funny. There are a couple songs, mainly like To Follow is a great example, where I wrote the song and I had this idea of what I wanted it to sound like vocally, but I needed to build up some confidence and some like stamina with the vocals. So I would listen to like, oh, I made an early demo of the song in like 2018, something like that. And listening to it, I'm like, oh man, I had a long way to go on the vocal, because I know like on the verses of that song with To Follow, it was really important that it had kind of the waver on down. Now I'm blanking on the lyrics where it's like, chasing what time has paved with I wanted that in the song, but I needed to build up stamina and confidence and experience. And then also at the very end of the song, there's a lot of like me just screaming and yelling. And it's funny because like when I was doing that in the sound booth and Ryan was like mixing stuff, I was doing so many different things because like we did like one take where I literally just like screamed and I was just like just going crazy. And he's like, dude, that was really heavy. Can you say some words or something? I was like, oh yeah, let me. So I jotted down some words and then I yelled them and he's like, okay, that was really good. You should do something like at the end, like change a little bit or fluctuate at the end, because originally I was just holding the note. And so that's where I was like, and I kind of like descend a little bit. And then so when we listened to it back, I was like, oh, that's it. I was like, that is the one. I'm like, that is the closer for that little song.
Awesome.
So, but to kind of go back, like it was a confidence thing. Like I wrote it a long time ago, but I had to get more confident with my ability to sing and perform the song. But it was like, I always knew it was like, oh, this song is a lot of fun. And we had been playing it live for a while, but like it has come a long way. And so now hearing where it is now, I'm like, oh, we're really proud of it. Like it sounds how I wanted it to sound like 4 years ago. So
yeah, and perfectly mixed and mastered once again by Ryan of Key Flight Captains. Shout out to him because
absolutely. And I'm only going to disclaimer this because I don't want to leave my buddy Nick out, but Ryan did all the mixing, and then our Nick Joswick, who's the guy who mixed and mastered our last EP, he mastered the EP. So
gotcha.
Awesome because we got to see a little bit of Fifth Street and then Ryan's work, and it came together. And so we exactly married the best of both worlds.
Perfect.
Sam,
who is that?
There's this freak with the curly hair mullet just popping in.
Yeah, exactly.
Good to talk with you again. It's been a while. I think since the last time we talked was with PJ on Instagram. So
it was like
bringing people together. That's what I do.
Yeah.
When was that? Like
2021?
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
Something like that.
Long time ago now. All right. So the next track was For Despair. And this one was a 60s ballad introduction kind of thing. So I told you that song that I think I liked showering to or something like that. That has that
from
same
our first,
vibe. Yeah, like Battlefields. And then I said that it picks up and becomes like a punk ballad, kind of like FM Static.
Yeah, it's funny because that song is, like I said, it's the oldest song I've ever written. And we had been playing it live for not as long as some of the other ones, but we introduced it and we were trying to figure out ways to breathe new life into it and make it fun and exciting, bring kind of a bite to it, a little bit of an edge. That's a lot of fun, but I'm not downplaying the song because we are proud of the song, but it functions as our rest song, if you know what I mean. So when you're going hard and heavy for like 30 minutes straight, you need a point where you're like, all right, James and Melanie, you guys take over. I'm going to like catch my breath. And then I'll come in with just like the gentle, chord. So it's like, it really helps me vocally during our set to have like a breather where I can just kind of like sing, not super crazy. And then like, once we're done with that, they're like, all right, now we're back.
So that is an intentional slower song, just so you can have a breath, especially on stage. But the recording process for that, was that mostly focused on both of their parts?
Normally the way that it works is you do like a scratch track and then drums and then bass, guitar, and then vocal. But we did it a little differently in the fact that we did drums and then guitar, and then James did bass, and then we did vocal. So we kind of swapped bass and guitar. But the fantastic thing about the wonderfully talented Melanie Mills here is she's really good at being in the pocket. And when she's in the pocket, you just follow along. Yeah. And so James was able to just slide in there and just do his thing.
Yeah.
And on the first interview, we talked about the communication that you guys had, where it was getting a lot easier for her to understand what you were asking. You're like, like,
it's gotten no easy.
Simple beats.
Yeah,
I still do that crap.
There's a lot of TikToks or reels or whatever that we see people like guitarists trying to explain to the drummer the part that they need to have, and it's like and that is just so true. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, but what tom do you want me to hit? Like that he's doing those sounds, is it doesn't help me. And so it's nice to be able to have a song where I can just come in and kind of take the lead and be like, this is the pace we're going, everybody follow along. And it is kind of our easier break song, but it's still a good time. I think for me, whenever it picks up a little bit, it's a lot of fun to play.
Oh yeah.
On my set. Like I give it a little flair when we're doing it live and stuff like that. So I have a lot of fun with it and things like that.
Awesome. The next track is called 6 Degrees, and it is my personal favorite, even though PJ said this is the one that you guys did not expect people to like the most.
Not at all.
So James and I for years have been trying to actively cut it from our set list.
Yeah.
I don't know why we just don't like it. It just feels so happy and poppy.
Yeah.
Why would you want to be happy listening to music? Ridiculous.
Well, it's funny because like the whole song is like I'm not saying it's a joke song. It's not like that, but like it kind of is in a way though, because like I wrote the song because I'm like there are so many times I write songs and I'm so serious. Like I'm like, no, this needs to be serious. It needs to be dark and brooding and like, and so I literally wrote that song because one time I was writing another dark song about like war or something like that. I'm like, I need to really lighten up and write like just a goofy song. So I whipped that out and I'm like, hey, I got this new song. And then I showed it to them and they're like, it sounds like, I think y'all said it sounds like the Newsboys or something like that. I was like, what? The Newsboys? I was going for like Weezer or Green Day or something.
Yeah. I did not get the Newsboys vibe from that one. I said that this is my favorite production. It's got the best vibe, super catchy, and you have those incredible high notes that come out of nowhere where I'm in my mind thinking to warm up to hit that note must have been so much like effort.
There's a lot of honey.
A lot of honey.
I'm not even joking. It's a lot of honey. So
that's what you have to do. Yeah, it's a coat was it throat coat? Yeah, that's what they call it. Sam, what was your question? Sorry about that.
No, I was gonna say it's you call the track 6 Degrees, just like it's 6 degrees down here.
Oh,
yeah.
No, that's exaggeration, but we're just getting some cold weather, so I thought I'd throw in a little joke about that.
Perfect.
Where are you?
Yeah.
I'm in Sowell, Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
So we're Texas and we just hit the 40s and we're all panicking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just, we can't.
you think that's bad? You should try up in Michigan.
But Sam, what is your history personally with Crushing Plains? Have you heard most of their stuff before this new album?
Oh shoot. So I've heard a little bit of a Story of Gravity, and I think maybe a little bit of Achilles Heel.
Okay.
I think I forget what's that. Hold on. Oh yeah, it was. I did hear a little bit of The Avenue too.
Good. You actually
So-
looked it up to remember these things instead of saying the wrong song title twice. That's fantastic, dude. Fantastic.
I come prepared. But also, I think, Dan, if you remember, the first time we interviewed PJ Mills, I think he played The Story of Gravity on acoustic guitar. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes, he
No,
did.
yeah, I played it because it was fixing to come out. So I was like, oh, this would be a fun little promotion.
That became one of my favorite tracks and was the intro for the interview as well, because that was one of the newest ones that was just released at that time. I love the
Oh,
video
really?
You
for
got
it.
5 new songs to pick an intro for. So there you go.
Yeah. This is going to be so much fun, I'm telling you. I'm trying to figure out if I should just take what part of what the reaction is and then just put that in the intro just to have the hype grow and more, or just let the song play and, show off whatever you guys have. Do you have any music videos planned out currently?
We do.
Oh.
It's always been my dream to do like a really legit music video for our music. It's the type of thing where I'm hesitant because I have a guy and he is super talented. He's got like really professional gear. I've worked with him a lot. And he's like, man, I want to do a music video for y'all. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to happen. But like, I feel bad not compensating him in some way because I don't want to just be like taking advantage of his talents. So because of that, I'm like, I want to be able to save up and be able to pay him. And so we are planning on doing a music video for one of the tracks from this EP. We're going to kind of see what everyone gravitates towards. Because I kid you not, legitimately.
Is that a pun?
Right
that a
now,
pun?
it's 6 degrees. What's funny is legitimately, I was expecting it to be 0. I'm like, 0's the song. That's the track that everyone's going to love. And it's not that people haven't loved it, because people have loved it, but like so many people are like 6 degrees, or they're like To Follow. Man, those 2 songs are bangers, man. I'm like, cool. But I'm like, that is not what I expected. So I'm like, all right. So we're going to wait and see what everyone gets excited about and then make a decision on what video. But I have an idea for every single song.
Perfect. I'm excited to see if it's going to be orange again. That's my
It will
biggest
be.
thing.
I can guarantee it.
Yes. Woo.
If it comes out, I'm gonna ask you the question: Orange, you glad it was orange?
Thank
Oh my gosh. See, this is why we need him in every interview to do bad dad puns.
Dude, that would be the best thing if we could just have you add on to all of my awkward silence moments. You could just add these incredible dad jokes right there.
Oh, trust me, I've got like a whole like database of them.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
That
Oh
was,
my gosh.
that was just a setup. I should
I'm
have
gonna turn beat red on that one.
Yeah. I was about to turn red myself. All right. So the final track is called Hillside, and we discussed this a little bit earlier, but I wanted to talk about the Batman comparison that I came up with earlier.
Okay.
It did remind me
Oh
of
my word!
Something in the Way. Yeah, dude, when you hear this, I swear it sounds so close, especially with vocals. Just the way that it's like held out with the notes is more elongated. It works so well, man. The vibe is so cool. It's got no percussion currently.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna interject for a second. When you said Batman, I just got flashbacks to like my old drum captain. He, for whatever reason, he called himself Batman.
What?
Yeah.
Was he Batman
He's-
or was he just delusional?
As much as I like him, I'd probably go with the more delusional side of things.
I can respect that.
And this was a drum captain for college, high school?
High school.
Nice. And currently you are in a band. We should actually talk about that as well. Just the idea that you know what drop C, drop D, all of that stuff is, and I'm still completely lost when people talk guitar or anything. But we did have James earlier talking about a sound system. And what was that sound system called again, James?
Oh, the console was a VI 6000 from
VI 6000, much more improved than the VI 5000, of course, as we all know.
Let me look that up for a second.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know any of that. That's James's world. I'm like, when it comes to the dynamics within the band, James is tech. I am like artsy dude that's like, all like anxious and all that stuff. And then the creative type. And then Melanie is the beauty.
Personality. The beauty.
So
I'm like, what am I?
You said last time that she was actually getting crowds of girls coming up to her because they thought she was so cool for being a drummer, and it's like the coolest thing. So how has that been recently? Has like gained even more hype for you, Melanie?
Yeah, it's actually been pretty cool. I definitely feel like there's more and more females who are following the band, and more and more females who recognize me and following me and just asking questions, and so many women who have come up and said, I've always wanted to do this. Like, I've always had a passion for music, but you don't see a lot of females doing, especially in rock music. Like, you do see them, but it's still very rare. I feel like even for this day and age, it's still so rare. And every time they see me doing it, they're like, they ask me all these questions, and they're like, oh, how did you get started? And man, I'd really like to do that. And I'm the person who's like, well, then let's go jam or something. Like, let's, get something started together, and let's make a band or something like that. And that's just kind of my personality, because I really want to advocate for more women to be in rock music. And I really want to encourage that and make it not this scary thing. I think too, a lot of times, and this happened to us at a show not long ago, where I'm coming in with these guys and they're like, oh, are you the plus one? What are you? And I'm like, no, sir, I'm
The
in
plus one. Oh my goodness.
wow.
Yeah.
It's happened multiple times because we'll walk in together and like plus one, I'm like,
yeah, they
No.
like not even a lot of venues expect it to
Yeah.
be a female, or they may have heard, our music and they know we're a 3-piece, but they just, I don't know, I guess they never thought I was a girl. But yeah, so it's been, that has definitely been growing, and it's something that I've been very blessed to have met so many women who are so talented, who just need that little bit of encouragement and stuff like that. And I think it's going well. I'm definitely seeing more women kind of give it a go, and I'm just so proud of them. And like we were saying earlier, Houston, there is just such a wonderful community of rock musicians here, where it is just we support each other. Like, we shower each other with praise and love. We're there to support each other, even if we're not at that even if we're not on the ticket. A lot of us are going to each other's shows just to show that support. And I know that's not how it is everywhere. Like we were saying, we met bands from other places and we're like, what is happening? This is not what we're used to. But it is just so overly friendly and so supportive here. And it's like, once you're kind of in the scene, you're taken care of.
Your family.
You never have to worry about security or anything. You are taken care of. So
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm so happy that it is working out for you. You guys are, what should I say? PJ, the lead vocalist, always has to say, thanks to my bassist, thanks to my drummer and wife. Does the crowd go crazy for that experience?
when I remember to do it, yes.
When you remember to do it.
So I should probably add a disclaimer.
Ow.
So most of the time we have it like a designated point where we're like, oh, hey, let's hear it for, our bass player James and all that stuff. But yeah, I love introducing my band to the group and the crowd. And it's funny because I'm like, to me, I'm more of like a hype man for the two of them. So that's what I love doing, is like when I introduce the band, I'm like, guys, this is James Petty on bass. Woo! Melanie Mills on drums. Let's hear for women drummers. Yeah. Go crazy. And then I'm like, and I'm PJ Mills. Here's the next song. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Like, I don't even give them a chance to like react, I was like, I'm a singer. Let's go. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
You should be like famous YouTuber.
Famous YouTuber.
But Sam, we were actually talking about the House of Blues performance that they did. I think it was last month or 2 months ago, and
I guess it would have been last month.
yeah, and it was incredible for them to actually be in this venue, because that just shows growth over time. As you're in a band yourself, that getting that on the ticket, getting that on your resume, to be like, we played at House of Blues, everyone's going to be like, you played at what? That's awesome.
Be
Any,
glowing on your resume too.
Yeah, any questions on that or concert experiences? I want you to take the mic now because honestly, it's your time, man.
I have a question for you, because you're in Louisiana, right?
Yeah. What's
Okay,
up?
do you know She Might Be Beast, or She Might Be a Beast?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
What?
they're a band that we met and we were kind of interacting with that are in the Louisiana scene.
Oh, okay.
Like a
What
grunge trio.
what area in particular?
I can't remember. It's somewhere in Louisiana.
Louisiana,
Okay.
Louisiana.
Most Texans, it's like everything in Louisiana is New
Yeah.
Orleans, and that is just it.
Yeah, I think it's New Orleans, but I don't want to say that because I'm like that. I feel like that's just like, you're from New York, New York City, like there's other parts. So I'm like, I think it's New Orleans, but I'm not 100%. So
Yeah. So oh shoot, I did have a question earlier. What sort of what DAW do you use? Like, do you use like Logic or Logic Pro, Ableton, or Pro Tools? Then to follow that up, secondly, what's your process for like writing songs, or what's your process for like working on stuff?
sure.
I think the first part is a James question.
Yep, that's totally.
Why
a
don't
James
you answer
question.
the first part? You answer the DAW question.
So I'm a big Logic guy, but I'm also not afraid, depending on where I am or what I have with me, to use like Reaper or Pro Tools. I don't use Pro Tools as often. Most of the time it's Logic or Reaper, but I'm pretty easygoing with either or.
Sure.
And then as far as writing music, I feel like it's been so different over the years. I mean,
It's changed a lot.
it has changed a lot. There was a time where I was writing a lot of music, and then PJ was just kind of like
Sprinkling,
taking that
yeah.
and,
Taking a bow on it.
putting his little PJ spin on everything. And then I feel like in the past couple of years, we definitely shifted to more of PJ is writing the lyrics, and then
When
we're
it comes
kind
to
of
the
building around that.
when it comes to the instrumentation though, like a lot of it is guitar based. So what we'll do is I will write a guitar part and then add lyrics to it, and then I will bring it to James and Melanie, and then they will build things around that. James will add parts, Melanie will add parts, I'll give feedback, and then they'll say like, that doesn't work, you can't physically play that, and I go, oh, I didn't know, okay, play something else in. And then we work together, we find something that works, and it works really well. We test it out in a live scene, because I know that's something that we've really been striving to do. Is it's one thing to write a song, it's a whole nother thing to write a song and then perform it in front of people, because you learn real quick what works and what doesn't. I would say that's the moment where things really start to fall into a concrete like part for the song. Is we'll play around with stuff a lot, but once we start playing it live, it really narrows down the direction of the song. And like there's even a song now, the one that we mentioned in our last interview, Burn Me, and we're playing that live now. And it's so funny because when we were first composing the demo for it and working on ideas for it, and we do hope to eventually release a song maybe next year, but it has changed so much because of the fact that we play it in a live setting now.
Yeah.
Because we'll play it live and it's like, no, like, let's do this again. We need to keep it going. Like, this energy is really cool. Keep it going. And we try to capitalize on that live energy and bring that to our recordings, because to me, we're very much a live band. We love playing live. We love connecting with the audience. And so I love being in the studio. They hate it.
He has his nervous nature when it comes to being on stage. James and I are completely chill, calm, and collected, usually joking around.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the studio, I think James gets a little nervous. I hate it the whole time. Like I just sit there and I'm like, I hate this so much.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm just having a blast. I'm like, more feedback on the guitar.
Yeah.
Like
there and saying like, can I have less guitar in my
like okay, how many takes are we doing?
yeah.
Like, this is done. All right, okay, I'm good. I'm getting out of this.
Yeah.
I would hate hearing myself. That's like my least favorite thing about any studio environment. Like live, you can actually be full volume, especially voice wise. And, you know, you'll hear whatever the crowd usually hears in some capacity, but you're not going to hear everything that you are, unless you have inner ears, of course.
But it's also different because if you like did some producing, add some effects to your vocals, like because like when you first record it and you hear it back, it's like okay, it's the vocals themselves sound good. Let's make this a little better. So maybe add a little bit of like lo-fi sounds or whatever. That might make it a little better. Because back to the Logic, the Pro Tools question or whatever, because I've used like up until this year, I've used like GarageBand to write all my demo tracks, and so I record all my guitars through an audio interface, and I program all the drums, right? And in my honest opinion, Logic Pro, which is what I'm using now, Logic Pro is honestly 100 times better than GarageBand.
Yeah.
So, because honestly, I can do like a lot more stuff with it. I can like do time signature changes. I can do tempo changes. There's like, I have access to like more loops and, you know, all this other things I wasn't able to do with GarageBand, honestly.
Yeah.
And so
I think it's similar to, because obviously I do video work. So like when it comes to video editing software, I feel it feels similar to that when like you could use iMovie or Windows Movie Maker. But then once you start diving into things like Avid or Premiere Pro or stuff like that, it's just another level of it that like you really start to feel like a true professional, and you're like, man, there's so much you can do. The possibilities are endless. It's really exciting.
Like having the ability to use custom plugins or Waves plugins or anything like that goes a long way, because I use a lot of different plugins for different things whenever I'm writing. If I just need to like get out a basic idea, a lot of the time I just use plugins and do the programming in Logic, and then I figure out how to transfer that out for everybody else to play. So
yeah, absolutely. About a couple weeks ago, I actually programmed the drums using Logic Pro for my first time. Using Logic Pro for the for one of the songs I'm planning on recording at some point. Once I get the right interfaces and I have the microphone somewhere in here, but it's buried in my closet somewhere. I have to go dig it up. But once I get the right interfaces, I'm planning on getting one of the Scarlett 2nd generation 4i4. Y'all familiar with that at all?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's actually what I have sitting on my desk at home.
Oh, nice.
You mean this? And sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. So, because I played through the Fender Mustang GTX 100 before, and for some reason I love the Fender 2000 setting that I get out of it, because it's just got that classic rock tone that I like. I also like the uber metal sound, because it's like almost got that Pantera or like 2000 Skillet sound. So yeah, I'm planning on just running my guitar through the interface, through the micro amp to my iPad Pro, which is what I'm using right now for this. So yeah, that's sort of my history with recording.
Going with the tech questions. I like it. You're going to keep James talking. Yeah. Just keep going with this. Me, PJ, and Melanie will just sit on the sidelines, and we'll nod our heads in approval.
So
yes.
So the only reason I got introduced to Logic Pro is because one of my college buddies, who has a project called Chasing Cities, he recorded, produced, and mixed all the songs he's planning on releasing on his EP by himself. But then he sent it off to someone to get it mastered, of course, because so I might just follow his footsteps and do the same with my own stuff.
That's some super dedication, though, for one man to do all of that by himself.
I've got friends that have done that before, and it's a lot of work to try and do it all by yourself. I mean, props to him, because that's a lot of work.
I know the guy who mixed REP. He does a lot of stuff solo. Now, granted, he has the time, and he has like a lot of the stuff set up in his little recording shack that he can experiment with and try things out. He's also a very talented man. I mean, he can play drums really well, bass, guitar. I mean, he's kind of a jack of all trades.
Okay.
So getting to work with him was a lot of fun, because his ideas were always really, really exciting to have someone that was like kind of could speak each of our languages. And so, we'd be tracking something and he's like, oh, you could try this. And then we'd give it a try. I'm like, yeah, that works really well. And
Like he would physically go over to the drum set and be like, what about something like this? And he would play it. And then I would just go, okay. And I could repeat that. And then it was in
Oh wow.
mix. So yeah, it was super nice just to have somebody who could play pretty much all the instruments and could,
Yeah.
It also helps too, especially when you're I'm just gonna go on a little side note because I'm a music education major at my school, so it also helps to learn more than one instrument, like drum set or woodwinds, and especially when you're teaching music in a public school setting or if you're just teaching private lessons, so on and so forth. But let's see, any funny live performance stories that you'd like to share?
Oh, that's a good one.
funny live performance stories.
There was a time you almost fell off the stage.
It happened a couple times.
That happens a lot, actually.
There's a lot of times where I look at him and I'm like, I don't know if he's like passed out or he's rolling around on the floor or what's happening. I'm up on the drum stage and then I've got my big kit and I'm like, what are you doing down there? Like, are we ending this song anytime soon? And then I worry about him. And last show that we did, when was it? Like a weekend or two ago?
Dan Electros.
We actually ended
yeah.
up having to be a 2-piece because poor James was sick.
He was sick. So we went back to our duo
Yeah.
roots. It was me and Melanie. And are you talking about like
Because there was a point at the very end that you were like stumbling around. You looked like you almost fell into my kit. And I was like, oh my.
Yeah, I was doing the solo instrumental part at the end of our set, which is, like we just go really hard and heavy, and then it's like doodle 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 doodle, and it's just like a cool atmospheric. I kick on the delay and the reverb, and it's just really atmospheric and fun.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I kick that all on, and I'm like kind of like moving around the stage, trying to look like, oh yeah, I'm playing so like intensely or whatever. And then I tripped over a cable, and I fell onto Melanie's drum set, and I kind of like was able to catch my hand, but to me, it's like it. Everyone's in the Houston scene is so cool, so they're very understanding. But it was so funny when it happened because I'm like, I really wish I had a bass right now to keep it going because I was like, oh, and it just like fell, and the music just stopped, and then I got back up and was like, doodle doodle, like again.
You didn't tell me this happened.
Yeah, and I just was like laughing. I'm like, hey guys, remember us,
So to return the favor, it never hurts to have a tuner on you because I will tell you this. There's another funny story. I was playing with another band at the time, and our drummer, he was just like giving a little beat, and me and my guitar were tuning out loud where everyone could hear it mid-set.
Oh,
so
no.
That's James' pet peeve. Like, he hates when bands do that. Like, he just hates it.
And here's a kicker. In one of the songs that we did, I think this is like the second show with this like newer project that I did, which I'm not doing much anymore. Like towards the end of the song, his guitar was still out of tune. He puts his guitar down.
What?
Like,
So he just was like, I'm not playing anymore? Or?
Yeah.
He didn't slam it down though. He didn't.
No, he
do a
didn't.
Full
No, he
rock
didn't.
star.
He just like set it down.
It's compromised.
It's compromised.
That's why we bring a backup guitar to every show, mostly because I'm terrified of breaking a string. But like, two, also like with tuning, it's like sometimes I'm like, something's not working. Like, I mean, we had problems. So it's like, it's good to just have a backup, just go to the backup. And it's like, I checked the tuning before the show for both guitars. So I'm like, it's good to go. But it's still, like my Gibson is like my guitar. So like, I love playing that thing. And so if I'm not playing it, I'm like, oh, it feels so weird.
Heck,
Like I'm holding a stranger in my hands, So
heck, my PRS is my baby now, and so these other two guitarists you see over here, they're retired.
They're retired.
Yeah,
I know nothing about guitars.
don't
Literally nothing.
we're in the same camp.
I've
That's
played.
okay. I don't know
played the
that
big
much
string.
about guitars.
The big string. I can strum the big string.
There you go. By big string, you mean the bass, or you mean the E string? Like
The E string, sure.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
So the thickest string. You can strum the thick string.
the one that hurts the fingers less. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, no calluses for me.
There you go.
So I'm sorry, I got one more funny story. This is actually my very first show I ever played with like a
Even
rock
better.
band. So this is so at Guitar Center, they used to have like this thing called the Rock Show program. And basically what happens is you get some students who are like, vocal students, you get some students who are guitar students, and you can get bass, your drummers, whatever. You get together and you practice some songs together, and then you play in front of a group of people. And so at this particular show, the very first song we did was Smells Like Teen Spirit. And so our drummer counted off 1, 2, 3, 4. I go to play the riff. My guitar volume was turned down all the way. I knew that as soon as I played that first chord, my volume was immediately turned down because everyone else doesn't come in until like the whole.
Okay.
So it starts off, because remember, it starts off clean, but with the guitar by itself, and then you have the drums kick in. I had to go it again because my guitar was turned down.
Gotcha.
And so 1, 2, 3, 4. That time my guitar was turned up.
Okay. So it was a false start, and then
It was it was a false start.
no doubt nobody cared. That's the good news. Is like it wasn't middle of the song, it wasn't end of the song, it wasn't like a big solo. Or anything.
Right. Oh,
So, thank God it wasn't. Yeah, at those periods of time.
I will say that so many shows will play, and we're all very hard on ourselves when it comes to like performance during our live sets. So if we have a show where we really struggle, I know like I had the show not too long ago where I just sucked in so many ways. And so when it got to the end of the show, I was like, thanks everybody. We hope you had a great time. And I went outside and I was like, oh, like that was the worst show ever. And then I go in, I'm like smiling, and I was like, "No, you guys are so awesome! You guys are so great!" And
thank you. I
mess,
guess.
Yeah.
exactly.
That is rough. That is very rough. Anybody that's, as you guys are both very musically professionals in your own categories, you guys are very critical to yourselves. And so when something's off. Like you ever perform in somebody, like I'll do an a cappella for somebody, like, hey, this is a song I'm working on. Then you miss a note. Nobody knows you missed a note, but you know it. And so it's in your head now that like, it just can't fix itself at that point.
Oh yeah.
All right, no problem. Final question for everybody. Do you have any questions for me or Sam before we go?
Any questions for y'all?
Yes.
Well, I don't have a question, but I have something that y'all should totally do. Y'all should listen to our new EP. It comes out literally tomorrow.
Woo!
Yeah.
By tomorrow, you mean?
I guess
31st.
October 31st. I guess I should do. I don't know when this video is coming out. Yeah,
It's coming out tomorrow.
Video coming out. The EP's out. It's out. It's available now. Go listen to it. Go listen to Odd Numbers.
Happening.
Yeah. Thanks again, everybody, for checking out this episode of Crushing Plains back on the Media Man Dan podcast. This was a super fun time with my friend Sam Ward of Chasing Cities. Is it correct? Perfect. That was a one-time shot. I knew I would forget the name, but I got it. All right, Chasing Cities, Crushing Plains. Everybody go and check out all the bands. Everything will be in the description down below. Make sure that you guys are going and checking out that EP right now. I swear this is going out right at midnight on Halloween. So get ready. I hope you had a great time trick-or-treating. Anything else before we go?
We're just so appreciative of you for having us on.
Yes. Thank you so much for being Dan.
Great question.
Or just Danny boy. I don't know what you go by.
Daniel LaRusso.
I guess, yeah, you can call me Dan. You could call me Daniel LaRusso. I have him right here next to me in a pop figurine somewhere. Yeah, thank you guys so much as well. It means so much to me. The first time that we chatted was just an extraordinarily honorable experience, and I will never, ever do anything but treasure that first time interview with anyone. Like, you guys were amazing and so nice, and it was just the best.
Thank you so much.
you.
And
Thank
you were
you.
the best too. Definitely the best interview we've done or had up to this point.
Yes.
Awesome. Hopefully I can hold that as the top one for a long time. But I want you to grow, of course. So I'm expecting to see you guys on Joe Rogan and all of that,
Oh my gosh. We'll see.
But Sam, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate you for being here too. And we will definitely be chatting with your band sometime in the future. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Hope all of you have an awesome night and stay safe out there. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Media Man Dan podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to like and subscribe.
Thanks for listening. Have an awesome day and stay safe out there. Peace.